The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, an iNetworks communication station.
Welcome to Exposing the Narratives, where we examine, reveal, and discuss various topics, events, and of course, the narratives in the spirit of kingdom building through Jesus Christ. Hosted by three awesome men of God, Reverend Morris, aka Frankie D, Pastor Clarence W. Olloway III, pastor of Living Water MB Church, and Pastor Eric Taylor, aka Tae, pastor of Manifest Ministries. And now, join us in Exposing the Narrative.
Hello, and welcome all of you back. Yeah, let's expose some narrative. Yeah. How you doing, boys, fellas? How you doing?
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Frankie D.
Yes. I'm happy to be back, everybody. It's been a while, but we definitely enjoy seeing and hearing. Yeah, we can see you with our spiritual eyes. So thank you for joining us today. And
a lot of things happen, man. A lot of things been happening since we've been off. This being
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Year.
Right.
Happy. Yeah, you're right. Happy New Year. Yeah. Yes.
Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was an awesome game. I enjoyed it, and I'm just excited about the new year. And my motto this year, everybody, so everybody know my motto is it's going to be in Christ Jesus in 2023. That's my thing. Be in Christ Jesus. Be in 23. Let's be. That's my thing. What about you two?
Well, I have greater expectations. And with greater expectations comes greater responsibility, greater accountability, that we might work together to win souls for Christ. Greater expectation.
That's nice, man.
Jeremiah
that's
29 and 11.
Yes. But I know you got something on there, Frankie D. Everybody want to hear yours.
Mine last year was present towards the mark of the higher calling. And this year, hold on, I got it written down. And I should know this by heart. But I've been doing so many different things that hold on, give me 30 seconds.
Okay, I go this year.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, come back.
Whoever want to join me this year, I refuse to let this year be like last year. Last year, one of the worst years of my life. I want to go through the worst years of my life. I refuse that this year. One thing, it made me stronger. I'm a living witness. So I'm living on it. He mixed up some eggs over there. What are he doing? His slurp.
It's funny because
you got an old cassette recorder or something. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I refuse. I want this year to be great. I'm pushing forward. I'm just seeking the kingdom like never before this year. But those who want to ride with me, let's ride together. Let's really go out there and win some souls for Christ, so Christ can use us because He kept us all here for a reason. So let's fulfill that thing. So God, to go our life, because you here, it's only because of God's choice to leave us here. So I'm determined to seek Him more. Show me what it is He got for Pastor E. Yep.
All right. Well, this year we started this year almost like we ended it.
Okay.
But my thing is we lived all of our yesterdays for today.
Right.
God woke us up this morning, and thank God we woke up in our right minds.
Praise God. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's one thing, Pastor Clarence, you lead on, definitely, me, you talked about some things. I say our parents say, man, and old folks say, thank God, close my right mind. And I've come into it in a real way. But what it is, if somebody be closing their right mind. Yeah, I knew the statement meant, but it's one thing to understand it and to know. Pastor Lance, you got a little bit of static came on your mic a little bit. So I don't know, it was really clear at first, but I know it changed. What happened?
I'm the only one at home.
Yeah, this technology do, man. It can do anything, man. Yeah. So I think Frankie D
being heard clearer now.
No, it's still staticking a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what it is. And I think Frankie D, he trying to write him something up, No.
I had it written down, but I get to it. But that's actually, it's funny because when it was given to me, it was given to me at the beginning of the year, and and I'm just trying to get the exact scripture and everything else, and I know it, and I got it written down. But okay, let's go ahead with the first subject, and I'll give it to you by the end of the thing.
All right, we're in the Black History Month, and I told I told you guys that I had a quote from John Lewis, and the quote was, "You are the light, you are the light. Never let anyone or any person or any force damper, dim, or diminish your light. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and to enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won." Think about those words. You are the light of the world.
Yeah, it's really staticky, brother. I don't know what's going on. You hear Frankie D?
Just a little, but go ahead.
Y'all got better ears than me. I don't know what else I can do. I put it on hyper standard.
It wasn't at first. And it's, you know, I just went there.
I don't know. Maybe it is my my furnace came on. That's the only thing.
No, it's a static. It's not a wind blowing. It's a static. Every time you talk, it's speaking to static. I know.
Okay.
So let's see if you could get something worked out there. Maybe try your headset or something. That might work better. Interesting, yeah. But definitely looking forward to some different exciting subjects. And thank you all for tuning in today. I see some people tuning in right now. Thanks for tuning in. Yes. Good. It's good that we got a exciting show. We always got a exciting show because it's always good to.
Is that better?
Yes, that's it. Say it again.
All right.
Say something. Let me hear you. Talk. Holler if you hear me.
Okay, I found it.
I hear you.
That's good. No, it's clear. That's clear. I mean, that's clear. You know, one thing about technology, we don't know what's going on. Huh?
He got it. So let's go and see what you got, Frank.
All right.
Walking in the power of 2023.
Okay.
And that's coming from Luke 10, verse 19.
Yeah.
Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You talk about hurt. We have to talk about crime.
Yeah.
We're here in this month of February, Black History Month, election cycle, and the biggest thing in the city of Chicago right now is all the candidates want to fight crime.
Right.
How do we fight crime? And it's not just here.
No.
While we were off, there are several things that have happened. The Memphis 5. I don't know about you guys, but the most shocking thing about the incident in Memphis was to find out that it was African Americans, police officers sworn to uphold the law that did this to this man and his family. And the response was correct. They got fired, investigation. You had other people involved. Other people were suspended. But why did it happen? Because we prejudge people. We prejudge people. A friend of mine suggested to me that I get a dash cam because I'm confrontational. And I'm like, well, it all depends on how you come at me if I'm going to be confrontational. The most pleasant interaction that I had recently, we know in the past I've had some bad ones with law enforcement, was I was just daydreaming, driving, and I don't know if I rolled the stop sign or I just blew the stop sign, but as soon as he turned on the lights, I pulled over, had my stuff. He's like, okay, let me check your license. Check my license, insurance, everything came back okay. And he said, I'm not going to give you a ticket. You just drive safely, be careful. And I said, thank you. And went on my way. Now, how does that turn into a criminal act, who escalates the situation? All the videos that we see through the internet, social media about officers escalating the situation, or irritated drivers escalating the situation. Most things happen. The statistics came out by the FBI. It's 56% of those interactions. 56%. That's a high number. That's a very high number. You know, so we always look for solutions as we analyze the narrative of crime and violence. Well, it's almost as Jesus said, you know, the poor will be with you always. As long as we human and don't have the love for one another that we are supposed to display, you're going to have. But at what rate? And how do we turn it around?
Right.
Well, my thing about the whole entire scenario that happened that bothered me more than anything else, that during that whole entire process that lasted, I don't know how long it lasted, but there was not one person that sat here and said, hey, let's bag off this thing a little bit. We're being a little too aggressive. And I believe that some of them probably had kids. And so me as a father, I would look at that as that could be my child in those same circumstances. But nobody stepped in and said, hey, listen, let's bag off, calm down, let's stop this. Let's, hey, stop swinging, trying to break it up, get control. So they sat back and just joined in or watched. And to me, where is the humanity at? Where is it? And I get it. I understand that all cops, let's go ahead and say this right now. All police officers are not bad. It's the few that act outside of their sworn duty. Thank you. Their sworn duties that make it bad for everybody else. And to me, not one person from the medics to anybody came in and said, hey, stop, hey, calm down. He's under control. That he's crying out in the video, what did I do wrong? Something
2 yards from his home.
Yeah, so something should have snapped in there. Okay, well, hold on. Let's de-escalate this. First off, my question is, how did they get so angry so fast? And I didn't see nothing on camera that showed that was warranted. And he only ran after they're trying to hurt him. So it bothered me because I me having a young boy, it just made my body cringe just to see that, because that could have easily been my son.
You know, the thing is, it goes back to, they say the abuser becomes the abuser, and we take on this mentality of power and things we've seen, witnessed. And Black people sometimes it's so sad with us, people of color. We've experienced this over the years. We bring it to this generation. We become that we hated one time. We become those things. And I think, like I say, I feel that everybody should come out, because Black Lives Matter to me, who it is. I know the whole thing was because it matters here. I want to see the same force with this too. And it shows you how we as a people need to be talking more, bringing things to light more, and love each other more, because we've been conditioned. Sometimes we take things, we're oppressed. We become the oppressor ourselves at times. And it's so sad. That hurt me. That really works with you, Pastor Clarence. When I heard that, I said, "Oh my God, it was you guys." But I've experienced not to that level. When I was a kid, I spent some time Black officers who want to extra show their authority, extra to bow down to them because who they are. Not all of them, because I feel overall there's a lot of great police officers. My family have been police officers, so I feel that there are a great number of them. And it's sad you get these marks like this, but this should serve as a thing to all of them now. we need to value ourselves and look more. We still got to fight crime and do what to do, but we have to look at these are human beings we're approaching, and it's weird. You take some from the same situation sometime as a George Floyd, as this particular gentleman, people happen. A lot of them would react the exact same way. We forget that some of them forget they're humans. They begin like they're animals or something like that. Not their animals, they approach our animals. It's just sad. It's really sad.
Well, if we go back to even the first video that ever went viral, and we were of that age when Rodney King and that video came out, and all the destruction that happened after that.
Right.
We've been desensitized to violent acts. McQuan McDonald shot 16 times. Desensitized, and how soon we forget that officer has been released. He was sentenced to 6 years. He didn't even do the whole 6 years.
Right.
He didn't even do a whole year.
Yeah. No, he did over a year. He did about 2.5, 3 maybe. But he was released to a halfway house, and I haven't followed it any further. But the family received monetary, but there's a life that was lost.
Yeah, there's no amount of money that can replace the child.
There's no amount of money. People used to say, well, I would get in the ring with Mike Tyson for $1 million. Okay, but
you'd be brain dead after that.
Mike ain't gonna kill you, and no mas is no mas once you got me down. But I'm gonna tell y'all something else, because my kids hear me watching all these video police encounters and stuff, and they're like, "Dad, why do you do that?" I just want to see what's the trigger point. Where did it go bad? Because if I'm being a human being, thank you for using that word. If I'm being human to you, be human to me. I can't be responsible because your coffee wasn't the way you wanted it this morning, and you happen to see me run a light,
or a bad relationship, or something happened early. Anything that triggered you that day.
I'm driving a car that reminds you of your ex.
Yeah.
Or your financial situation isn't what you want it to be, and you see me driving something nice, and you want to know, well, how can he afford that?
Yeah.
There's certain communities as a black man you go into aware of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't believe me, take your car and drive out to Oak Brook. Drive out to Aurora and go to some of the exclusive neighborhoods and just drive around.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Guarantee you what? What happened?
You might get stopped.
Barrington.
And it becomes a fishing expedition.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
That's true. That's true.
And do you have any guns in the car?
And the funniest thing is that when I was working security in a security car over 20-something years ago, one of the colleges up in Barrington, we had to go up there as a supervisor. They pulled me over in a security car, like I had did something wrong in a security car. I'm just like, I am in a uniform. I am, in a security car. Why are you pulling me over? We have an account at Barrington College or whatever. And why are you pulling me over? Well, we want to make sure that you was working for the company and the car wasn't stolen.
Wow.
And that's the thing. Was my car reported stolen? And then they take this approach that less than them. They take an approach that you're going to obey. I heard this one officer tell a motorist, "You're going to obey me." And that was the trigger. You're not going to dictate this stop. You're going to tell me. And you mentioned something earlier. Out of all those guys on the scene, no one took a humanitarian effort to say, "Hey, okay, that's enough. Stop. Let's get him some medical attention."
Right.
There was an incident. A superior officer. They're trying to put a guy. It's out there. They're trying to put a guy in the car, and one young officer, a woman, like pulled the sergeant. He turned around and choked her and said, "Don't ever touch me." How much adrenaline and rage is going through them? And then you got 6 or 7 police officers. Y'all can't cuff one person. What? Maybe y'all need to go back and get some training.
Yeah, but not. But that young man was small, and I understand you can be strong and everything else. It should not take no more than 2 people to, if not 3, to sit here and get that young man under control, in a respectful manner.
That's what we say. But I've seen a school teacher, a video I watched of a school teacher. She was parked. The guy came up on her, the officer. She couldn't have been no more than 125 pounds, dripping wet. He couldn't do nothing with her. Nothing. He couldn't get cuffs on her or nothing. What type of training?
Yeah.
I seen him shoot a guy with the taser. And he took off.
Yeah.
He took off. He snatched the things off, took off, ran, jumped in his car, and took off. And the comments later was he was terrified for his life because he was like, I was just walking. I was just walking. The police was not called on me. I was just walking. And then you see, because, and I tell Pastor Taylor this all the time, the way people edit and produce something is to get you to think a certain way. But at the end, and I hate some of them because they never give you the resolution of it. At the end, this young woman came on and said, well, I called the police, but it wasn't about him. Why did y'all attack him? Why did you jump out and attack him? All over this country. But there are certain counties, and it was a video, certain counties in certain states that it happens more frequently than others. So where's the federal government?
Taylor, you're too loud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where's the federal government in this? How the Chicago Police Department was held accountable by federal mandate. What happened? What happened? Is it being enforced? You've been censored for your interaction with the public, and the public pays your salary.
You know, it is, you know, but now I have a question towards all this. What is the church doing about all of this, and what can we do better? Well, not just when it happens, but even before it happens.
My standpoint on, and people, not just people of faith, but people want to point the finger at what the church is doing. Okay, we're out there with the protesters. We're out there standing up for civil rights and justice, not justice just for African Americans, but justice for all. Because the laws should apply to all of us.
Yes.
Not some of us. But and that's where that critical race theory comes in when you look at it and see how we've been treated. But yet we've overcome a lot. But
yes,
we still haven't gotten equal under the law. And not just the law. If you look at the situation, I saw this on sports yesterday. If you look at the situation with the coach for the Boston Celtics. And his permissiveness with a subordinate employee. Not only was his reputation
tarnished,
but his way people thought of him. It wasn't about what he did on the basketball court. It was about his interaction with this woman. And the Boston Celtics took it public. Is he the only one? Because when I was watching the sportscasters yesterday, they all said there have been numerous incidents with Caucasian executives.
Oh yeah,
that never touch the air. There were so many reports. I'm just gonna say this, and I know this. There were so many reports about Roethlisberger, quarterback of Pittsburgh. Great quarterback, great sport representation of leadership, comeback, longevity, all of that. But he had several incidents that were
at least
just
3
swept under the rug.
Yeah, got nothing for it.
But you look at the difference. Ben continued to play. Deshaun Watson had to sit out.
Yeah, my Vic with dogs.
Man, don't even bring that up.
I'm just sitting there saying, they put more on it about Mike Vick and dogs than they did about 3 women coming out. At least minimum of 3 women coming out with Ben Roethlisberger.
And that was just what we heard about.
Yeah, that's what we heard. That's what I said. The minimum that came out that we know of. But then also, what you just brought up a good point as far as that's concerned. When that incident happened with Phil Jackson, that even though they talked about it a little bit, it was done in a different manner.
Yeah, but since we know that, we have to, as a people, we have to those who can. I want to go back rest a bit. We have to strategically try to move different. As you say about the churches, Pastor Hans, one thing I say, I definitely commend you. You one person, you get out there. You're very you live a life example of stuff you talk about. But all pastors not doing it, and that's people when they comment on stuff like the church is doing because they've witnessed pastors they're not doing that. A lot of pastors, just like the human beings, they concern on Sunday morning. They concern what message they're gonna bring. They concern the community. There's a lot of pastors can tell you nobody's name on the block their church is on, or so. That's true. You're one of those people like that, but that's not. But as ministers, we do need to be more involved. You're involved, and it's sad to say, but a lot of it, I think, its majority is not involved. I know from I would kind of I can go to different ministers. I know they're not involved in that. They talk and they have things to say. We don't. If you put on the news or in a surround like this, they got plenty to say, but they're not getting out there. But we're supposed to be held to a higher standard for ourselves and by others. We should be doing something, talking, educating our congregation and educating people, but we should act. That's the one thing that's missing from us people of color. At one point in time, the church and the barbershop was where you got things like that. They talked about it. That's in church, but now it's like a small percentage of people that's like you that's doing it. We have to do that because as people of color, we have to move different. And it's going to be this way until Jesus come back. So basically, we got to move strategic. How do we strategically move different? And that's what we have to start to do. How do we educate? I was talking to a lady the other day. We was talking about crime and different things and a couple of ministers. Matter of fact, yesterday, I was saying at one point in time I was growing up. That time, Islam had the fastest growing religion at the time when years ago, Farrakhan was growing real big. Why? Because they taught love and self-respect of man and African queens and men and sir and different things about each other. And that kind of won a lot of people's attention. And we wasn't doing it as a community of Christians, of people of color community. We wasn't doing it. We were concerned with other things more deeply concerned with building our up and building women up and building ourselves up. We have to go to that because that's what we have to do. We have to start to build each other up as our human needs and stuff like that, and make us feel that we're somebody. We are somebody, but make us feel that way. And we got to treat ourselves. And that's why sometimes until we get to that point, it's gonna be worse. because we treat each other sometimes like dogs.
You know, and you know something, Pastor Dr. Holloway, you brought up a great point as far as that we put so much pressure on the church. What are we doing? What is the church doing? Let's flip it a little bit. What can we do what can we do as a community?
Right. Okay.
To sit here and change things.
Just pure on your individual moral compass. We never got the video for my little transaction or incident with the police. It was too long, and maybe we'll get a chance. One of you guys can cut it up or whatever and see what transpired. But in my interaction, I followed up. See, we get involved in something and it's injustice and we don't follow up. We just keep that venom or revenge in our hearts, and the next encounter is treated like the last encounter. But if you work through it, and that's what I did. I was like, hey, I need the tape of my interaction, filed a FOIA request. I looked at it. I shared it with you guys. And my next step was, okay, am I going to file a complaint? Yeah, I'm going to file a complaint. I filed a complaint. The officer's history was released to me. Found out he had been moving around from different suburban police departments. And he had an affinity of Black involved complaints, and they didn't want it to go any further. I didn't want any monetary. I wasn't damaged monetarily or anything, so that wasn't my goal. My goal was for him to recognize his own fault, to recognize his interaction with the public that could have escalated to something, you know, that it shouldn't have been.
Right.
And his accusatory tone because of the color of my skin. So we got to look at ourselves. What are we doing? You see little kids acting up. We're afraid. We're afraid to break up 9 and 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
11-year-old carjacked a car. 11-year-old. I was playing control racing with the little guns and the train tracks at 11 years old. He carjacked someone. 13-year-olds stole a car right over in Robbins, hit a 71-year-old man and killed him. Where are the family values?
And see, that's where I think that we need to get on the legislation to make changes to some of these laws. And we can do it if we stop spending money. I guarantee if we go on strike and stop spending money for a week, 3 to 5 days at any store or anything like that, I guarantee you that the big businesses will start reaching out to legislation and say, hey, listen, they stopped spending money. So we need to do something because we can't afford to lose our businesses and our billions of dollars or millions of dollars that we are investing in, or that we selling stuff in every week, every day in these neighborhoods. If we stop spending money for a week, I guarantee we get some change.
In certain instances, I find that to be effective. Protests, monetary protests, okay. But my thing is, this is started, and you can go back and look. There's a TikTok video that shows you how to steal a car from a Hyundai and a Kia from like 2015 to 2019, I believe. I might be wrong. Right. But the video shows you how you break in the car, get the car, and just drive off. Now, the manufacturer knows that there was a defect in the security system. The police know there's a defect in the security system. And the rate of those cars being stolen, you know what the corporate response was? The insurance company's not going to insure those cars anymore.
Yep.
That's their response. So a car that you paid for, that now you need to get another car because you want to feel safe and you don't want your property stolen, no longer can you insure, and the value of that car has gone down. Now, if you spend an extra $500-$600 to get another security system put in there, matter of fact, the police were given clubs to put back on cars. Well, the club only slowed down the thief. It didn't stop the thief.
No, and they're still gonna break your window.
Exactly.
So you're still out of money either way it goes until they figure out they can't steal it. Your window's still busted to get in. Damage is still being done to your car, vehicle.
But the problem I have, you got 11, 13-year-olds, and I'm not talking about the older kids that's still in the car. But in my day, we called it joyriding.
Yeah.
But now you steal cars to commit other crimes, so you won't get caught. But you're stealing these cars. If you're not committing another crime, if you're not joyriding, you're taking these cars somewhere and getting paid for them. The parts. I had an old Mercedes-Benz that, man, it just went bad. I couldn't put no more money into it. And I tried to sell it. Like $600-$700, whatever. And people were like, no, I got to put $1,100 in it to get it to lift back up. I don't want to buy it. Took it to the junkyard. And the junkyard was only going to give me like $200 for it. Took it to somebody that needed parts and we're going to break it down and whatever, use it for that. Gave me $1,000. So there's money
in it, yeah.
And piecing out the parts. Yeah. So where are we trying to fight this carjacking from?
Going back to what going back up a little bit, back to community. That's the one thing too. We need to invest in the community. I remember when I was a kid, there was community programs. It wasn't many, but it was a few such community programs. And when they do, the party kind of gets me with that. Sometimes they do invest in community programs, community people. They pick the same people who haven't been doing nothing for 20 years, keep giving them money. They got a track record. They track record, turn to the community, they're doing nothing. But sometimes they've gained this influence. They put through and got a few grants, got a few in-kind things. They seem to get the money, but they need to look into people, get them on the ground for a look at who's going to do work, who's going to impact the community to be able to mentor these kids, and get them some life training skills and do stuff like that. They hopefully get their mind. A few of them can steal their mind from it. But a lot of times it's not like that going on. People that live on a church, Pastor Clarence, he's doing stuff in the community. Find people like that. It won't take long, but a lot of times people that's just giving the money out, they don't want to do the extra work. They just prefer to give it to Billy Bob over here, who ain't been doing nothing who getting grants since 1995. He's still getting grants and ain't doing nothing with it, but digging his house out. You know what I mean? So the thing is, that's what they do. Invest in the community, stuff like that. We can. When money come through, these politicians get money, gives people who are going to do stuff in the community that's going to affect. You can't affect 100%. I mean, you reach out to affect 100% of the youth, but whatever percent you can affect, that's good. But it's nothing like that being done. This way, we can make a combination with the churches and the community together. Like I said, some we go down the family a little bit. Some come from broken homes, broken families. So, and maybe we can start funding the community to rebuild these families. It gives kids a sense of family from the community programs. I want to take an example. This recently, we passed it before the pandemic. Go back to 2018. I was at Austin Town Hall with a lot of teens and youth, a lot of the over Austin community. A lot of them kids, man, wasn't nobody at home. So basically, hung up there to the park almost closed. And said, okay, y'all got to leave now because they had nowhere to go. Sometime they're home with grandma, and grandma was there for to be somewhere besides for the house. I didn't get to the deep because some I knew I got into what was going on at home, but some didn't have nowhere to go. If they had more things like that, they'd be to get involved in. Yeah, a few of them that didn't want to come. They, they kind of they want to hang out in the street. But believe it or not, there's a lot of percentage of people who want to come in there. But when they don't have nothing to do, peer pressure puts a lot of them in there. Because you'll be surprised. It's probably 20% that's active in doing this stuff. And the other 80% is going along with it. And I don't mean 100% people doing stuff. I just mean the fact that of this 20% that's doing something, there's 80% of that 20% that don't really just going along because they feel peer pressure.
Well, I definitely agree with what you both were saying. But it's time to make changes one way or the other. Like Dr. Holloway was saying, that we have to individually look at ourselves and see what we're doing. But we also need to get out there and vote. And that's what's killing our community more than anything else, to be honest with you, is we're not going out there voting. Some people, my vote's not going to count. Some other people they're not going to change anything. But we can't change nothing if we don't get the right people in the right places.
But
that's the key shit, is getting the right person. You can vote. We can 100% vote out. But if you vote for the wrong person in, it's still the same thing. I mean?
Yeah, it's listen. I've been raised in politics, community activism. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. And your vote counts. And more than ever, you need to understand the percentage. Okay, the community that I live in, you go through the city marker and it'll tell you that there are 25,000 people that live in this community. 35,000 people live in this community. On election day, when you count up all of the votes, 7,000 people voted.
Yeah.
8,000 people voted.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I agree.
We have a thing that they call come sit with the mayor on Fridays from 12 until I don't know what time. And you just go and you put your name on the list, and he gives attention to, maybe gives you 15, 20 minutes or whatever. But publicly, I went and this guy told me, we're not fixing your potholes in the streets. We're not doing that. But you put new sidewalks in. You put plate readers in because of crime. So now every time I leave out or coming in to my community, you read my plate. So what's more important? Services? Because these streets aren't getting any better. Plate readers? Because you're still not stopping crime. What? You as a leader of a community, your priorities have to be set toward the people.
Yeah.
And the only time your priorities are set toward the people is in an election year.
Yeah. And even still then, that's still, and you brought up a phenomenal point. I'm not going to say the name of the town, but I know the mayor of one town. There's a little over 8,000 people in a whole entire town and community. He won his election by getting 1,200 votes. The next person only got 700 votes. So you're talking about almost 9,000 people registered to vote, and he wins the election by only 1,200 votes.
Well, let me go back. It was 7,000 or 8,000 votes casted. The registered number of voters in the township were 23,000, but only 2 to 1, only 7,000 voted. So if there could have been a more push toward voting, a third party candidate could have came in and won.
Yeah.
Given the right platform.
Okay, good point. Here the thing is, it has to be a lot of times. There's one time I felt I voted because I vote every year because since I was a kid, because I know what the struggle. My household was a struggle. They couldn't vote once, so I got to research somebody to vote for. But the thing is, I've had friends at the time, they gave a vote years ago, or they say, why? Who's out there? Nobody's out there doing nothing. What we have to do, probably, as people call it, start to pick somebody and get people and grow them up to go in those areas.
Absolutely. Not
let's
just
face it, I won't get no deal with you guys, but let's I know I'm gonna get bricks thrown through the through the screen, people. Obama was chose from the beginning, a long time. He was chose a long time ago to position himself where he was. Some of us for reasons for we get that conspiracy thing later with me one day.
That's what you said. He was chosen a long
time.
He
was chosen a while back for what he did and what nothing he didn't do. Whatever it was, he did. So I'm saying is
the powers that be.
So the thing is, we have to do the same thing. We have to strategize, get people, start grooming people up as 15, 16 years old now and get them interested. But when I was younger, I was interested in something like that. But the thing is it was people, sometimes families at the time that were precinct captains. They tried to exclude certain families out because they want to keep control of it. So they played, even though we would have been a better person, so we had to get away from that stuff. And that's why I say church community had to get involved. And the community say, you know what? If you're grooming this person, a better person for, let's continue to groom little Mike and little Lisa to become that person one day. Let these people control this thing. So that's what happens. It's not a lot of selection there to do anything. So
in my growing up and just observing, from elementary school to college, I went to school with certain aldermen's kids, certain precinct captains' nephews, Alderman Vidoliak's, I believe it was his sibling's child, and it's like it's in the line of family business. There's a young lady on the west side. Her father was Mayor Daley's right hand. Her brother had an automatic seat. Now she's holding an automatic seat. It's based on that, but I want to get back to non-conspiracy that Obama was chosen. If we're
I say this, we can wait for the subject of crime. Don't go too far. That's why I say do it another time. We started crime. Why is crime community? Don't let it go. Don't dig too far there because it's just too deep. We're going for the subject matter. That's why I say I want to get in there right now, but I can bring it up and that way I'll be prepared. And I might make some people look at JFK.
You ought to be prepared to defend it.
Huh?
You make a statement. You ought to be prepared to defend it.
Okay, I'm hard to hear you. Say it again, because I may be at the gym.
You made a statement.
I'm saying
curiosity, and you should be prepared to defend it.
No, let me back it up. What I'll do, we can do another show, guys. I'll show you some things. It might blow you away. Maybe like the JFK experience. There's a lot of things go behind the scenes, and one of the things I do.
I knew you was conspiracy theory.
I always look at things very deeply and look at stuff from behind the scenes. What happens? I'm always vocal about it. So the thing is that I look at stuff like that, and I look at the actual things. And it's a lot of, and I can show you from back mistakes. So people that's been in the office, things they say, things they do. It's a lot of things going on. Let's face it. Jesus had an agenda. You know what I mean? He came in. Jesus had an agenda. Okay,
he did.
Jesus had an agenda. Came in
by his father.
Right. Jesus had an agenda. Jesus did absolutely nothing for what the Father said. That was the agenda. No matter what they said, the spirit things, the agenda. The Pharisees had agenda. So what I'm saying is there's agenda.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around this.
But let's get to crime. Let's get back to crime. People want to hear about crime.
Okay.
We talked about the community crime. Frankie D related to community. We got on that. Let's get back to crime. What do we do? Like once, that's an example. I seen a place in Philadelphia. It was maybe a month or so ago, or a month and a half ago.
Got a video.
They got an armed guard walking around there. You know what I mean?
Well, here's something. Let's play the video, then we can go ahead. That way they can see exactly what we're about to start talking about. So,
right, exactly.
Hey,
cool.
y'all got y'all popcorn ready to go because we're about to play a little short video. Here we go.
I'm going through my book.
All right.
All right, we got a question for you. Would this make you feel safe? Take a look. A security guard armed with a semi-automatic weapon. It's happening at a North Philly gas station. The owner coming up with the idea to scare off criminals. If you saw this is our go vote for tonight. Would you feel safer or uncomfortable? So right now the vote is 65% of you saying safer, 35% uncomfortable. So be sure to vote at fox29.com/go vote. Shawnette, you spoke with the gas station owner who says this is needed to keep both his workers and customers safe.
Yeah, interesting listening to those numbers you just gave us, Sheba. So the store manager says that he had to do something more than call 911. And most customers, I'll tell you, that I talked to this evening on and off camera say that they support this, but there were a few who say they don't believe this is the right approach. Hired security strapped with AR-15s or shotguns, standing guard and walking the property of this North Philly gas station and convenience store.
This is supposed to be a city, right? And you got your kids walking around. Guns like that should be on the battlefield.
Corey Berry says she's on board with it.
If you're trying to get gas, you live in a bad area, and the only place is here, and they're getting robbed all the time, I mean, I support the owner.
Neil Patel is the manager of this Carco shop franchise at Broad and Clearfield.
We are tired from this all nonsense. Robbery, drug trafficking, racketings, all kind of hanging around all gangs.
He shared with me these videos of what has led up to this drastic response to crime at his business. Over the past few weeks, he says his store was trashed by young people, an ATM stolen out of the store, and he says his car was vandalized while parked at the store.
They're forcing us to hire the security, high-level security, state level. I am fearful for my safety of my employee as well as my nice neighborhood. All customers.
So 3 weeks ago, he hired the Pennsylvania site state agents.
We wear Kevlar. We are trained. My guys go to training every other week. They're proficient with this. They're proficient with their taser. They know the laws.
Andre Boyer is the chief of the company.
As a Pennsylvania state agent, that's what it says. The law tells us that we have a right to protect this property in any means necessary and whatever force necessary to be used to protect it.
All right, I think he left. I don't know what happened.
See. Yeah, that's right. He'll be back.
I just want to hold this up. I don't get any money for it, but this is a good read. Okay? This is a good read. This is the promised land. And I found no conspiracy in this. Now, getting back to the video. The thing that I have questioned, when the armed security guard gives his speech, my men are trained, my men know the law. The guns that they are carrying are military assault rifles. Okay. Is it a deterrence or is it an intimidation factor? And now that gas station in a poor community, all the price is going up because now I got to pay 4 or 5, 6 or 7, 24 hours or whatever the hours of the station is to patrol my gas station. You're not going to get armed security in Philadelphia, probably not under $25 an hour. So the price of gas is going to be higher at that station. A slushie going to be higher at that station.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Me, honestly, if I lived in a community like that, I'd want to pay the extra price because I want to feel certain points. Like you go to different restaurants, different hotels.
You don't have it to pay.
So what you gonna do? I mean, you stuck up and it's something they do target people like that. So I mean, I'd rather pay a little extra pennies or a percentage on it to be safe. I would. And here the thing is, what's better from the close up? You've had places in Chicago, Aldi's and different grocery stores have closed up. I went to community. I had a family member in the community. there's no grocery stores. They had to drive. I don't know how far is the grocery store. I'm thank God I'm blessed. I can walk to about 5 grocery stores from major grocery stores within walking distance. Most people can't do that. And I feel people that live in communities like that because they don't have that. A lot of times they shut down because of okay. I'm talking about the closest one to a couple people I know is like 2 miles. That's a lot to walk 2 miles to a grocery store, man. And so the thing is, I'm saying is that and a lot of them have you know, south side, west side, they've closed up. And a lot of times this one owner said he just couldn't take it. He said he don't want to say thefts come from inside. He just said it's nice, but he said inside and outside from the thefts and stuff.
Okay.
Just can't keep up. So and then mainly it's people some people were afraid coming and getting mugged and robbed in the parking lot. So what do you do?
Explain this to me.
Okay,
they made a big deal about Whole Foods going into the Inglewood community on 63rd Austin. They're closed.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Whole Foods, Jeff Bezos, because he bought Whole Foods, why did he close it in a community where they built it and they maintained it, but they chose to close it down and it's a food desert?
Now you don't know behind the scenes what go on.
Oh,
I mean, so basically,
they said publicly.
Okay, you said it publicly, but here's the thing:
business to make money, and Whole Foods was not making the money in that community per capita as they would have on the Gold Coast.
Okay,
where
I tell you,
it's still open.
Just to share, for the last few months, I've been involved in retail since maybe October. And it's one thing, your perception on what you think and being behind the scenes will go on. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes with retail, with stores, the things that you have a clue of what go on, from the theft to things that go on behind the scenes. It's just sometimes, oh my God, you can't believe it. Seeing the numbers, seeing what happened behind the scenes. So I could say the numbers can be really large behind the scenes, and not just hard to pay. You got to pay staff, you got to pay this and this. It gets unbearable. Yes, you see merchandise people people lined up in stores, always crowded, but also you look at your employees and you got to pay that. You got to get the product, and then stuff being stolen. It's a lot, and your profit margin is almost nothing. And that's enough for a fact. Now dealing with retail now for the past 5 months.
I understand your point, but I'm saying what was reported about this particular Whole Foods in Inglewood, and it closed. And you want to talk about people walking? I can go.
But they say about money. They said it wasn't making the money. It wasn't.
Mr. Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
I can go back to when the Bulls won their first world championship.
Yes.
There used to be a grocery store on Cicero and West, I think it's about West End, before you get to Lake Street.
It was called Buddy Bear. Buddy Bear.
They tore that store up.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's still a vacant lot.
Yes.
You know, and to both of y'all points, we sometimes could be our worst enemies because we go and tear up the stores in our neighborhood, our own stuff in our own neighborhoods. And then they wonder why it is.
The theater not on Holman and Roosevelt no more. We go to the movies.
Yeah, Magic Johnson went there, and I kind of know the inside behind that too. There's a lot of things with that.
Well,
Yeah,
you know something. We just have to get a show just on conspiracy theories with Dr. Chayi. But we're gonna have to. But we're coming down to our last couple minutes.
Oh, I've enjoyed. I'm gonna tell you, fellas, man. I'm so happy to be back with you guys, man. It really brightened my day today, man. Being with you guys. Hope you have TV. Our listener audience and viewers have enjoyed it.
Yes, we are back. We're just like Michael Jordan. We are back, but we're gonna win a championship. We're gonna win a championship.
I ain't never went nowhere. I'm still on the wall.
Amen.
Praise God.
Hey, well, we hope you all enjoyed this broadcast, exposing the narrative with Frankie D
and KE. Yeah.
CW.
All right, we love you all. And like I said, get ready for next week when we come back with another hot subject and a hot topic. And we love you all, and we'll see you all later.
Yeah, love you all. Be blessed, and be safe out there.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial support.